Yay. Okay, I wanted to actually jump back on here and address some allegations. I had some trolls in my last live stream, and they definitely got me a little sidetracked. And David D says, "Hey, what allegations are you addressing?" Well, let's jump right in then, I guess. The first one is actually that I am a megalomaniac, that I like basically I'm seeking power, and yeah, I am. I readily admit that. The world is always being controlled, and right now it's being controlled by anti-human clowns. And if I was in control, then I could make a golden age and make sure that humans have the things that they need, the basic necessities are taken care of, and we can literally make a completely different reality than the joke reality that we have now. We can literally make something real, and that's exciting. But they want us to not be able to do that. So obviously, we have a lot of forces aligned against us, trying to keep control, right, and push forward towards their new world order, where they have humanity completely enslaved. And that's what we're fighting against. Unfortunately, most shooters are completely, divide and conquer. Real humans have fallen for every divide and conquer tactic in the book, including truthers. And you know it's obviously to keep us from uniting and fighting back against them, right? It's a species war. It's, well, I shouldn't really say that, because every species has free will, and there are some, there are factions of every species. Like there are faction of Jinn that are, pro-human in general, reptilians even. Like there are different groups in different species. You can't just label all human. Like there's different groups of humans, right? Some humans are vegan and some are not. It's like you can't just say that humans are all one way or another. So yeah. Anyways, it is kind of a species war, but ultimately it is a battle between the forces of light and dark, just like chess. There are so many different chess elements that are literally built into our world. Like chess is so ancient. It was a game that our souls played before this world was even created, and our creator built chess elements into the very nature of his design. And that is so exciting for me. I don't understand why any chess player would want to cling to the globe when you could have the truth, and have, the truth of a world that is like your chessboard. Like it's so cool. The four towers on the four corners of the earth, the four rooks. There are different, you know, religious elements built into the whole thing. You know how the sun worship, SON and SUN, right? They're both the same word. But focusing on the sun, the king, and that's what chess is. I always say that the king is the son of the queen. He's the little baby, and that's why he can only move one square. And everyone is after him. If you back the king into a corner, the side of evil takes the king. And even in mainstream religion, they're, all about like eating the flesh and drinking the blood of the king. Like if you know what black magic is, there's a really interesting article that actually got removed from the internet about black magic in different cannibalistic, like it would say that different cultures believed, like if you maybe if you admired someone's intelligence, consuming their brain, literally eating their actual brain, is a black magic ritual that people have participated in to gain, to, you become what you eat. So they are eating that essence, and trying to take on that intelligence, or take on whatever. Like if someone maybe has a lot of courage, they might eat their heart or something, which definitely brings up the interesting the interesting aspect of humans, eating pig butt and all these other like really disgusting things. You become what you eat over time, and bad. Yeah. Anyways, Queen admits to being a megalomaniac. Exactly. Yes. Someone is always going to be in charge, and why wouldn't you pick someone that actually wants to make the world a better place and make a world that your children can be happy with? It's just, yeah. Hold on 1 second. Dry my arm off and scroll in the chat. Oh. Okay. Let me send this to somebody. Okay. I'm inviting Kyle because I think he's still going to be up. Oh no, what's happening? Oh, okay. Charles, how's it going? I decided to listen a few minutes after all. Yeah, Charles, what you are talking about in the chat would be really cool. Talking about menstruation being a disease, veganism, purification, that type of stuff is right up my alley. I know that it's really controversial, and saying that menstruation is a disease is like, especially these feminists that are just like, we don't have to bleed. Well, first of all, these aren't even real females. That they've like, the only bleeding that they've done is, I was gonna say, from like getting different surgeries to, try to invert themselves. But they've never had a menstrual cycle in their lives, and they're all up there on stage like talking about being a nasty woman and how they love to bleed, and trying to influence real women to be like that and like be proud of hemorrhaging. And like, it's not good for your body to lose blood like that. And they've completely convinced us that it's normal. And what is normal? If all of this whole group of women are eating a specific diet, right? Then it's normal for them to all experience menstruation because they're all eating the same garbage. They're all doing something wrong, but it's considered normal because it's like what the majority is doing, right? But it's Dr. Layla Africa, I believe their name is. I think it's supposed to be a he. But they have the book about menstruation being a disease, and how women on these African women who are on a raw whole fruits diet, whole foods, they don't bleed like us. And it even talks about like animals in the wild also not having the same types of menstrual issues that domesticated animals have. So it's really, really fascinating to look into it. But yeah, if you think of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, like Eve wasn't having bleeding issues every month. They were frolicking around eating apples, and there was no need for the hemorrhaging because her body wasn't full of toxins. And it's all about, hi Kyle, how's it going? Yeah. So it's really interesting to uncover all of the different lies that they have told us. I've tried to even tell truthers about this, and they're like, they'll accept, flat earth and all these other truths that are the opposite of what we're told. But when it comes to menstruation, it's like they actually believe that if you don't menstruate, you can't have children. There are in my video, it's a really old video. In my video, I actually talk about, there's like specific examples of, about menstruation. Oh well, this is a really old video. Okay. I'm going to scroll up really quick. David D says, Queen admits to being a megalomaniac. Oh, yeah, we saw that. Some Jinn are pro-human, most are not. Species war, yes. Sort of. Chess predates this world. They hide this. Yep. Just like everything else, they try to tell us, humans invented this. Humans invented all this technology. It's like this stuff existed so long ago, and they keep us behind. And I've already talked about that in previous videos, how they keep us artificially behind in all sorts of areas so that we have this illusion of progression and things getting better over time, when in reality, like, original humans lived hundreds of years in vibrant youth. They were not deceived about the truth. Like, they weren't deceived to think that they live on a giant spinning ball. They didn't believe in evolution. Like, they, compared to the modern human is like the caveman. That it's the complete inversion of what we've been taught. So it's like we are actually coming out of the dark ages now. The dark ages, to me, is when all of humanity is deceived. It's not what they label it as. So we're coming into an age of light, enlightenment, and knowing the truth. And from that, they say knowledge is power, and we can reclaim the power that we have. What's coming to mind is the show Westworld, and how when the people from outside are coming in, they can either choose a black hat or a white hat. The real humans, we have chosen the white hat. We've come into this reality in agreement with our Creator's will. We're not choosing to go into families that will invert us so that we can be rich and famous and all of this stuff. We're choosing essentially the harder path. I mean, these inverts will probably make a argument about how they're so abused, and trying to act like the opposite sex is so much harder than a human that's working a 9 to 5. Like, they'll make all sorts of justifications about how their life is harder and everything, but it's like Satan literally pretty much gives them the world on a platter if they'll sell out. Like, you obviously, I don't want to say that he'll give you whatever you want, because it's like, if every soul wanted to be president, there's only so many presidents that can exist within history. So it's like, everybody can't be president. So within certain limitations, he will give the soul what they want to play for his team. And these souls didn't start off like this. They have become broken over time. And if you come in and you choose the white hat time and time again, and you get crushed down, it's like when you're getting really, really sick and tired of it, that's when the demons come along and say, why don't you try to go in for the black hat side? Why don't you try something different and see what happens? And then, all of these doors open for you because you're playing for the dark side, and it just encourages the behavior. And then you have a cycle after cycle after cycle repetition of these souls that are continuously choosing the black hat to, and please don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about Q psyop, like a white hat, black hat, where the Satanists that are running our world are all pretending that the battle between good and evil is between them. Like, oh, these celebrities are pedos and stuff, but don't worry, Trump and the military is doing executions and tribunals and all of this. They're cleaning house. Don't worry. Like, you should be worried, because they are pacifying all of the humans. They're waking people up to the horrible things that have happened in Hollywood. And I said have happened for the reason that a lot of the adrenochrome, the child trafficking en masse, like the inverts have stopped this behavior like at large. And you can kind of tell, because like Celine Dion looks like a walking skeleton, no adrenochrome. But I think it's Celine Dion. But anyways, they're trying to invert the situation to where they are the ones that are, doing good. The only sin that they would say is that they're inverted. They're like, the only thing that's keeping them from heaven is that they want to be the opposite sex, and God won't allow them in heaven. They're not eating animals. They're not hurting children. They're literally trying to do everything that they can. I'm not saying that this is all of them. I'm saying that there is like a large majority of them that are trying to be a part of this, so that they can, go to the spiritual world and say, look, it's the humans that are bad. It's God's creation that's bad. While Satan's creation, the inverts, they're all just perfect little angels, aren't they? I do love a good purification story, right? Where someone who has done evil repents of their sin and turns around. But when it is done with this type of malicious intent, it's kind of like also leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's like you did evil as long as you could get away with it. And then you only like kind of stopped just so that you could point at humans for doing that evil when you, it's just like, at least you stopped doing the evil, I guess. They can't really, I had to be a righteous judge about it. Like, at least they stopped hurting. And I'm not saying all of them, but there actually are inverts that are pretending to be non-vegan and promoting non-veganism while being vegan behind closed doors so that they can be like, the humans are the baby eaters, not them. All right. David D says you are looking stunning in your bathtub. Oh, thank you. Gorgeous. David D says, eating the flesh and drinking blood of king. Unfortunately, black magic of the worst form. Yes. Humans are clowns that eat pig butt. It's true. Yep. Okay. David D says, what does the Queen plan to do for Valentine's Day? Well, I am still in Reading, and I was thinking of potentially going to see the Titanic in XD. I know that it is, inverts and all this stuff, but the Titanic obviously is a really romantic movie. And I just remember growing up and like watching it. It was on TNT like all the time, constantly. And I was like, really loved the story. And I'm like, why didn't she let him on the door? There was room enough for the both of them. There's no reason he should have died. Like, anyways, it's goofy, but I really like to go and watch movies, and I am kind of having my own little romantic getaway. So I showed these candles. They're really cool. They're designed to turn on as soon as they touch the water. They have these little metal things. Pretty cool. Sis, how's it going? Okay, Charles says, wow, yeah, I watched your video. I know then 4 years ago I believed you. You said you still bleed a little for a very short time. Do you now, if I may ask? Well, I'm not fully vegan, I didn't mean to say I am fully vegan. I meant to say I'm not fully raw vegan, although I have been primarily only eating salads. So I really haven't had enough time to... I can get back to everybody in a general video about this in a little while once I progress, because I know I have like junk food right now. I'm kind of having some fun for Valentine's Day, but I plan to go back to just eating salads and really purifying. And so it's one of the things I'll let you guys know about for those that are curious, and I'll try to be as tasteful as possible because no one really wants to hear about this type of stuff. Carol said, what did I miss? Well, the first allegation that I addressed was that I'm a megalomaniac. And I said, yes, I am seeking power, because if I had the ability, like if I have the power, if I have resources, I'm going to do with it what I dream of doing. And that's literally creating a world where humans can be free. Like, I want a safe space to have a baby. And I want, like, not only my children, but your children and everybody else's children to have their innocence protected, and a world that is designed to help them thrive on a soul level rather than deliberately dumb them down and turn them into literal clowns. Like, that's what we have going on right now. The uneducational system is designed to make learning really not fun. It's a cookie cutter education, so everyone gets the same treatment, no matter if you are, artistically focused or if you are more of a engineer or something. Like, it shouldn't be that way. Every soul came here to essentially do different things, although a lot of our paths do overlap. If you're a real human, ultimately you either came, well, any species really, you either came into this world to make it a better place or to make it worse. So if you chose the white hat, you came in here to ultimately make the world a better place. If you came in here, chose the black hat, you need to do some soul searching, because is it really worth your soul and being an actual clown? Yeah, sure. You get to rule and have all of these deceived humans praise you and come to your shows and, bow at your feet and all this stuff. But once they find out what you are, they start laughing at you. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, was the fame and fortune really worth being an actual clown? Like that pregnant video with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they're playing pregnant. It's because it's a girl. Like that's truth in plain sight. Yeah. So, anyways, David T says Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. If they get too gay, I'm going to leave. Wait, who's getting gay? Anyways, hi sis, how's it going? I am dragging behind a little bit in the chat, but I will get to your comments as we go. Kyle says, where's the bubbles? Well, it is really, really loud with the bubbles on, so I'm going to keep them off. But David T says, they give us the illusion of progress while we get worse and worse. Yes. Sis says, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. I got water dripping down my face. Okay. David D says, the inverts that choose the black hat choose to spit in God's face. Yep. There can be lots of presidents, only one real queen. Thank you. And anyone who wants to fight over it, meet me on Mount Shasta and let's go. Because queen isn't just some, like, get your nails done and have your hair done by somebody. Like that's not what it is. Queen's a military title. If you're not willing to go on the battlefield and be on the front lines, if you're not willing to face me, then well, you're definitely not the queen. Let's go. Don't get me all hyper, David. That's funny. David D says, yeah, the inverts are both the problem and the solution. Just watch the show. Exactly. Problem, reaction, solution, right? The inverts are doing good at being vegan, being good, and humans are the problem. Yeah. It's really sad. It's actually like one of the saddest things is going vegan and having to deal with humans that are like bacon and like they just don't care about animals. They only care about their pets. And I guess I was under the same religious programming ignorance, like God gave us animals to eat and all this stuff. So I do understand where that comes from, but it's really frustrating to deal with. God definitely did not intend for us to go slicing the throats of beings that feel pain and instead of just eating an apple. Like there's no need for an animal to die because of you. Okay. There was room for who, Rose? For him, Rose? They were just an invert. There was room for him, Rose. I'm not sure what that means. She will update you once she stops the fun. Come on. Queen is looking so fine. Thank you. Charles says, I'd love to hear. I love to learn truth. Did I understand correctly that you generally eat no protein, only fruits and vegetables? Well, protein actually originally comes from plants. Plants have these simple proteins. They tell us that we need all these complex proteins. But really, when you eat these simple proteins, like an apple, for instance, your body can just immediately break them down very easily and start building with them. Whereas these complex proteins, it takes your body a long time to break them down into simple proteins and then start building again. So it's extra taxing on your body, which is one of the reasons why, if you eat like these really big meals, you feel tired. But it's also a reason why it prematurely ages you too, because it's extremely taxing on your system. So yeah, raw vegans do not age as even cooked food vegans do. And I don't personally know anyone that has been like raw vegan from the start, but once I have a child, well, it depends on how much of his life is shown publicly, because I'm definitely going to like be careful about what I don't understand. Like it's really hard when I'm in a lot of like parenting groups because I'm obsessed with being a mom. And I want to learn like a lot of as much as I can to be as well prepared to be a mom as possible. But anyways, my point is that people like will post pictures of their children and stuff. I'm just like, they don't realize that there are so many pedos and stuff that will flock to these groups just to see, like, don't post pictures of your children online. If I couldn't say anything, it's just there's a huge pedo problem in this world, and they're the ones that are in power. So again, I am a megalomaniac and I'm seeking power because I want to take any power that anybody that hurts children, like they should not have one little iota of power, like none, no power whatsoever. They might not even be able, like they maybe shouldn't even have certain body parts. Like I'm saying they should not be in charge, and put me in charge and I will make sure that we take care of the problem because I am ready to go. I'm like a boxer just ready to have at these clowns. Okay. David, he says white hats are the humans, black hats are the inverts. Most are demons in disguise. And that's one of the things they talk about NPCs. I believe that's a cover up for inverts. Like they do have souls. Nobody is soulless. A soul is what you are. It's not like what you possess. It's not something that you have. It's what you are. So the whole concept of these entities being soulless beings, they're very, very dark souls, and they're very demon possessed. So for instance, when someone is born Patrick and he decides to go by Patricia, there is a demon that, like, Legion is a whole army of Jinn demons, and there are males and females in this. So like a female demon named Patricia is the one that is coming along and integrating into that, into Patrick. Beyonce, I think, in one of their interviews, it talks about like one of their alts, maybe Sasha Fierce, I'm not really sure, but they're basically saying like right before they go on stage, sometimes they feel something like come over them. Like that's essentially giving these demons, well, let's be honest, most likely it's Satan himself. If it's like going into, not, I know that Rihanna and Beyonce are different, but I'm saying like if it's someone that's doing the Super Bowl halftime show, it's most likely that Satan is the one that wants to be the puppet during that interaction, because I don't know if you even saw the Super Bowl halftime show. It was playing in the bar during the chess tournament, and this thing just screamed Satan. They were in like this all red, like the coat kind of reminded me of Cruella de Vil almost. It's just this real like eerie red costume with black hair, and it just Satan all over it, right? And at one point this like platform starts raising up, so it's just like Satan being raised up above all of these humans, and they're all just like, you know, praising and adoring him from below. We're not worthy. Anyways, Queen has physically pushed guys out of her space. Yes. Violence to defend her circle. Titanic. Yes, there was room on the door. That's funny. Raw vegan 80-year-olds look 30-ish. Yeah. I definitely want to make sure that I give my children like the best starting board. I don't know. Yeah, in life. So that's, like I was saying, I'm in a lot of parenting groups, but even when it comes to what I feed them, I want to extended breastfeed, and just primarily give them fruits and vegetables and not ruin their palate so that they are not liking the things that like our creator intended for us to eat. So that is definitely my plan. I like these little roses everywhere. All right. Queen has physically pushed guys out of her space. Violence to defend her circle. Yes, there was an incident at one of my events where these guys are trying to bring in non-vegan macaroni and cheese. And they're like, "Is this a potluck?" And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's a vegan event. So if that's not vegan mac and cheese, you need to get it out of here." And like, another guy came over and was basically gonna put the macaroni and cheese on his plate, which had my plate. I brought plates and napkins. Like I go up there with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4 tables, you know, like a camping grill, just like a thing of water to drink, cups. Usually I have hot tea, burgers, vegan, of course, a nachos and cheese dip with chips. I bring, you know, a veggie tray. I bring fruit. Like I bring everything that I can think of that will basically help someone, you know, I can have all of these delicious things as a vegan. I don't have to actually give it up. And basically, I can say, don't cook that animal on my fire. I have all of this stuff. Like, if you try to cook flesh on that fire, I cannot guarantee that your flesh will not be on that fire. Hopefully, I don't get banned for violence. Okay, I'm not gonna get wound up. Titanic. There was room on the door. Okay, yeah, I saw this. Okay. Queen will make a good mom. Yes, thank you. Pedophiles control this world, deliberately put into positions of power. Yes. There's even a documentary, like a mainstream documentary, about how like schools in the UK that are boarding schools, I guess, but the ones that top politicians and stuff go to, and it talks about the pedophilia problem in it. And it's like all of these kids are sent off to these elite schools to, you know, become politicians or whatever. And the schools that they're living at these schools, and like they're being run by pedophiles. Can you even imagine? Like, I don't even want to think about the horrors. Like, your parents send you off to a school, and then you're under these people's control, and you know, it's just really scary, in my opinion. I can't even think of sending my child to a regular school, let alone where they actually go live with somebody else. Charles says, I don't post many pics of myself ever. Never my daughter. Facebook owns everything. You post anyhow. Obsessed with being a mama. Why aren't you already? LOL. Well, I am not married. I'm not in a relationship, and this is a really, really bad time to have kids right now. I feel that the dragon would be at my feet, so to speak, waiting to devour my child when he is born. CPS right outside my door, basically waiting to take him from me because I will not inject him with things. I am not going to go to the hospital for a birth. Like, my child's not having anything. They're not having a birth certificate, none of it. My child is not being a part of the system, and I feel like I'm getting some crazy eyes over this. So, like, you do not mess with mama bear. I'm not playing any of their games with my child. So that puts me at really high risk of my child being taken away. And plus, I believe that my future child's the king. And we already kind of talked about the clowns in charge wanting to eat the flesh and drink the blood of the king. So, yeah. Literal baby eaters. Charles says, I gotta head to bed after this question. I pray we can talk more tomorrow. I love that. I really thrive off of intellectual conversations and, you know, talking with people about the truth of our reality. It's really what I'm really passionate about. David says, Patricia is up to help Patrick. Yes, Patricia is an alt of Patrick, a different personality. Super Bowl chess term. Oh, Super Bowl, yeah. Bursting out of your brother. Oops. Okay, anyways. The problem is liquor, beer, and wine. Everything is fine, but for violence, liquor is quicker. Oh, yeah. Definitely, the guys that were in my circle trying to give each other mac and cheese were definitely liquored up. And I kind of stopped in the middle of the circle, or in the middle of the story, but the one was like getting ready to scoop macaroni and cheese on his plate, like right beside my table. And I'm like, no, they were both like standing right here. And I literally put my hands on both of them. And I'm like, no, like, I'm serious. Get out of my circle. Like, if you are seriously have to eat the flesh of the innocents, 10 feet away, get out of my circle. Like, we are going to fight over this. I will fight, kill, and die right here on this mountain over that macaroni and cheese being served in my circle. Like, are you willing to do that? Then you better back up. All right. And this is when I'm like stone cold sober up there. So I try to stay completely sober up that, like, people will come and hang out and do any of their hippie activities and all that stuff. Like, as long as people are being safe and they're, I obviously am not stopping them, but I personally stay, sober, and I'm not doing any of that stuff. Like, I've already had issues at my events, and if I have to deal with the cops, I want to make sure that I'm like, not. If I have to stand in front of a judge for my actions, I'm not going to be like, I was drunk. It's like, I was stone cold sober. I knew what I was doing and I did it. And first of all, judge, are you vegan? Because you have no right to judge me if you have rotting babies in your belly. I demand to have a new judge who is vegan. Anyways, Queen says that if they burn the flesh of the innocents on her fire, she cannot promise they will not burn themselves. The flesh of the guilty. Yep. Worst time to reproduce is right now. You shouldn't mention it. They learn from you. What are we talking about? I shouldn't mention fight, kill, and die. Yes. If you're not willing to die, then back off. Okay. So anyways, the other allegation, the first allegation was that I'm a megalomaniac, which is true. The second allegation was that I essentially cause issues in people's relationships. And I mean, it's kind of an obvious truth that is, you can say that any porn star or model or anything that maybe catches another guy's eye, that they're causing relationship issues. And even deeper than just the basic eye candy type distractions that could impede on people's relationships, I'm speaking the truth of our reality. And the truth really is very divisive. And if you're in a relationship with someone and they're not ready to wake up at the same time as you, even if they are trying to wake up, it can be extremely rocky. Relationships are hard enough to begin with, but it's like, if someone finds my videos and starts listening to me, and even more, starts actually researching what I say and realizing that I'm speaking the truth, and then it causes all sorts of issues. Like, would it be better for that soul to have stayed asleep and stayed corrupt and stayed, in this poor state for their soul for the sake of this relationship that literally was broken apart by the truth? Like, the truth ultimately is what broke that relationship apart, whether it's, one person, like the lack of accepting the truth on one person's part, right? I've had I was married to a truther, and the truth broke us up. Things happened, and, we were really into the Bible and Torah following, and came time to study Passover, and I found the Essenes, and I can't stop looking in scriptures and ancient texts for little bits and pieces of truth. I love that. And that was not what my ex-husband was like, not into that. He just wanted to basically get rid of all, not doing any texts or any of this. And, it was just a lot of differences in our beliefs. I went vegan. He did for a little while, and then stopped being vegan, which was really, really devastating. He actually is vegan now. He's been vegan for multiple years, and he's made a lot of other people vegan. So I'm really, really proud of him for that. But I'm saying my relationship has been broken up by the truth. Like, there's a lot of collateral damage. I know, a handful of people that have had a divorce or been broken up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, serious relationship, because of the truth. And I do acknowledge that I have, I am contributing to issues, but if I was to stand in front of God and to justify my actions, it's like I am literally trying to use what you gave me to promote the truth of our reality and get humanity to stop being clowns. We as a species are an absolute disgrace to our creator. All of the nonsense you see on the TV, reality TV, all of these things that are programming humans to be the dumbest versions of themselves possible, and godless degenerates. And that's what humans are being portrayed as, and it needs to stop so that we can actually make our creator proud. If Especially if you want humans to continue existing. Like, I love humans. I love little babies. They're so cute. I don't want God to stop making humans. And I mean, anything is literally possible. So if he becomes extremely, if it's just like humans are just too far gone, they're just a dud species, and I can't get any of them to purify and act as in a way that makes God proud, like, there's a lot of incentive for him to stop making humans. And I don't want that. I love babies. They're so stinking cute. What would you like? Other species, I'm sure that if I was like a mother of, I think that dragon babies would be pretty cute either way. I think other animal species babies are cute too. So I guess I can't really say that. So it's not just a human thing, but if humans weren't center stage anymore, I don't know. I can't really even picture that reality. I mean, obviously that was the reality before humans were made, right? There was other species that were center stage before this, dragons, nakash, like snakes, even the jinn, right? And they had their time, many, many years, cycles and cycles and cycles of being center stage. And the whole story between the species war is that these older species have been replaced essentially right now by humans being the ones that are center stage. And they have jealousy issues. They have issues with God giving his attention to a species that they see as inferior. And if you are comparing objectively the Jinn species and the human species, well, they live for pretty much forever. They have pretty much godlike abilities. They some can shapeshift. Like, they're not all, there's different varying levels. Shapeshifting is like something that they actually have to consciously hold their form. It's not just like completely effortless. That's a different topic. But I'm saying they have extreme intellect, extreme magical abilities, gifts, whatever. And then we have humans who, I don't even want to make fun of it because it's so sad that people are actually confused about their gender. But I understand that there's so much programming to, I think someone was just telling me today that there's like, I don't remember what the percentage was, but there's like a significant percentage increase of inverts in like the younger generations. So there's all of this programming, and it's not just like society, like degenerate type programming, but they have like religious texts and stuff that talk about, specifically what I'm thinking of is like the two spirit, and what are those things? What are they called? Let me just find out what the actual word is. That's definitely not. In India, isn't it? What are these? Hijra, Hijra. There we go. So in India, they have like a whole true invert community. And for those of you who don't know what invert means, I mean, it's one who inverts themselves and tries to be the opposite of what they were created biologically in the gender category, sex category. I don't want to play semantics. They try to like separate gender and sex or whatever. It's just like, I'm talking about you're biologically a male. And I personally do not believe at all that God allows male souls to enter female bodies or vice versa. And that's one of the reasons why these inverts are obsessed with this. And, it's a complicated subject, but hi, Kyle. Truth broke my past relationship up well. You've been silent for a while, but David D's overwhelming the chat, so it's okay. I think he's trying to get me all hyped up. Just kidding. I was seeing your earlier things about fight, killing, and dying when I scrolled up. Just messing. But yeah, it is. I don't know. I think it's better that the truth broke up a relationship that was built on lies rather than staying deceived to stay in a relationship that is ultimately not going to be what fulfills your soul. Finding someone like the stories of the Christ and Mary Magdalene and them like being lovers and actually working together with like a ministry and having the, love child. If you haven't read the story of the Blue Rose, it's really beautiful. I should have just pulled up really quick. I actually have a blue rose tattooed on my foot. And I got that before I even read this story. So I thought that was really cool that I ended up having this blue rose. The Christ says, the blue rose is rare and greatly prized. Likewise, a loyal friend is rare and greatly prized. Wherefore, with our school, the blue rose symbolizes loyal friend. But I now give you this rose to you, Miriam, not only because you are my most loyal friend, but because I wish to please you. For lo, blue is your favorite color, and roses are your favorite flower. And in this life, you are a woman, and I am a man, and I desire to please you in every way. For truly, I love you in every way. This flower will look lovely in your hair. Then Yeshua put the flower in Miriam's hair beside her ear, and Miriam reached for her man and embraced him. And they go on to say that night they actually conceived the Holy Grail love child. And then the next day, the Christ was arrested and taken away. So it is a really romantic and touching story. I love it. Okay. Let's see. David D says, you acknowledge you are contributing to these problems in their relationships for the animals, for the greater good. Yeah. For the golden age. It really does suck that it's like people won't go vegan for the animals. They're like, a lot of guys will go vegan for, a hot girl, but they wouldn't go vegan because they actually care about the animals. It's like, wow, that is so sad. You don't care about, like, where's your compassion? I love a man that will stand up for the animals. The Essene Christ, the texts talk about him basically being crucified because he refused to go along with sacrificing a lamb. Like, that's why he was killed. And I'm like, that is my kind of guy who will fight, kill, and die for the animals. That's something that you can be proud of. Like, what else? What other death would you even be like? Would you rather die of old age, having done nothing of significance, or like die for a righteous cause? I don't know about you, but I'm like, let's go. Sign me up for dying for a righteous cause. So, yep. David says, God can't stop making you. Well, if he does stop making humans, my soul will come into other forms. I say that other species have been center stage. Like I don't believe that all souls are the same either. I don't believe that we are all created at the same time, that there are older souls and younger souls, right? If there are older souls, then that kind of means that by default there are younger souls, right? Obviously. And I do think that there is a cycle and that there are souls going out of existence. But my point was that, especially the older souls, I actually think I have one of the oldest souls. We have played this game many, many times and been in many different species. And it's kind of interesting because your soul, your spirit, they're two different things. You obviously have your physical form and your soul. And when these two things combine, you get a spirit. And that is like the same shape as your container, your vehicle, if you will. So your soul, your spirit can have taken, multiple different forms over all these different times. It's kind of interesting that you can like connect to these different incarnations of yourself, I guess, in different ways. Yeah, it's also interesting that there's allegations that, the original form of the soul is a dragon. that's what a soul kind of grows up to be, and transforms into over time. It's not like it's kind of like, a baby doesn't start off exactly as a baby, but it's like a sperm going into an egg. And then there are different developmental stages over time to create something that doesn't exactly look like a sperm anymore. Well, they might say that we're kind of like standing up, like walking snake-like things. I don't know. They say a lot of things. Okay. Jinn are superior in every way, but God still prefers the fleshy humans. Well, humans are awesome. I mean, our bodies, the intricate designs of these things, absolutely, like, you have to admire the crafters crafting. It's really a shame that they try to, attribute it to evolution when it's like such an advanced machine. There's no way that this came from evolution. David D says that 10% more inverts in this generation. Thank you for looking that up. 10%, well, with all of the programming, it makes sense. Oh yeah, so anyways, I was trying to tell you about the Hijra, or however you pronounce it, in India. This group, they actually are like, they go around blessing children, and they'll come and like sing to your child when they're born. And if like, they will check if your child is a boy, they will go and check his private areas, and if they find something that they think is abnormal, that he might be one of them, they will literally take your child and take it to their invert cult and groom them. I'm sorry if I'm breaking any bubbles. These are literally pedophile groomers coming into people's houses, blessing their children. Sorry, but I do not want any of your blessings, because your blessings are, you are literally a pedophile, satanic scum. Why would I ever want your blessing? Obviously I don't want your curse, because that's what they do too. If I actually have a friend that said that he went there, and they came on the bus and were basically, they go around and bully people for money. And if you don't give them money, they will curse you. Oh, but these are just such loving folk, aren't they? I get real fired up. I've had some people try to defend this stuff. I'm like, your culture literally is allowing your children to be groomed from birth by pedophiles? Are you kidding me? Oh, but don't you know there's this ancient Vedic story? Don't you know that literally every religion under the dome has become corrupted? In the fact that you are trying to defend having a man in a dress, a broken, degenerate clown coming into your house, and not even just touch it. I have a problem with you even looking at my child, let alone touching, let alone undressing my child and looking at his private parts. No, you won't even have eyes if you come near me. That'd be a lucky thing for you if you even lived after that. Sorry, I get really, really fired up. I'm not okay with this. It really pisses me off. There's whole cultures that try to defend this stuff religiously as well. Oh, don't you know that there was this God who's an invert and blah, blah, blah. It's I don't care what justification you are using for this. It is not okay. If you still think that this is okay, go look at the bottom surgery that male to females go through, okay? If you can seriously sit through that without your soul wanting to jump out of your body in absolute disgust and horror, you need some serious mental help. And if you can sit there and watch that video and seriously look in the mirror and say, yes, I would be okay with supporting my little son Tommy, going out and getting this surgery and literally mutilating his private parts and turning them outside into a manhole that will be a constant wound for the rest of his life, that he will have to keep dilated, a smelly, open, disgusting wound. You are seriously promoting that? You should never be allowed around children ever. I don't know how I got off on this tangent, but I'm really, really passionate about this stuff. It really makes me mad. Hey Kev Fortuna, how's it going? Haven't seen you for a while. Glad you can make it. I'm a dragon, Kev Fortuna says. Okay. All right. Isaac Box says, can I ask what your date of birth is? September 17th, 1993. Race Lover says, what allegations /did you address? I already addressed the allegation of me being a megalomaniac, and that I am. I want the power to change the world. I'm literally seeking power. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not hiding my intent. Like, I need the power to make the world happen. Whoever's in charge is making this a clown show. And if they are not in charge anymore, things can be different. See how simple that is? It's great. And the other allegation is that I am feeding into relationship issues with other people by, doing everything that I do. And ultimately, I do what I do to wake people up and change the world and save animals. So there's collateral damage, but I am confident to stand in front of my creator and, be judged for my actions. And I did what was right for the greater good. So you'll have to listen to other, details, but that's a summary. David says there's no way the Queen's sexy body was evolved from slime. I know. I used to tell people, like, you can believe that you came from monkeys if you believe that, but this did not come from a monkey. I know that for sure. Like, there's no way. Anyways, Kat Fortuna, happy Valentine's Day to you as well. If I didn't say that, I'm not sure. DVD says, we have played before and we still sign up to play again. We are not endists at our core. Yes, and endists meaning that there are entities, there are souls that want to end reality, to stop this true man and true woman show, and basically go back to the cosmic ocean that was, before the world was created. As the story goes, there's this cosmic ocean of ether, like pretty much every ancient culture and religion talks about this. And then in the midst of the waters, the yellow submarine was created. This gold dome, a snow globe, right? So there are kind of like hidden occult truths in the deceptions, and they're always like putting truth in plain sight, like with the Truman Show and the Simpsons, and even there's a show called Under the Dome. It's very fascinating, actually, if you haven't seen it. But the gold submarine, the yellow submarine, if you take gold and you heat it to extremely high temperatures, it actually, all of the color it'll leave all the impurities will be burnt out, and it will actually turn transparent and become the hardest substance that matter can be made out of, which is what we need to, hold the waters above. There's a layer of a dome, and then there's a layer of water where, the stars and all that is, another dome layer, then the heaven where our creator is, the actual space that he is inside of there's another dome around that even. And that's all contained within the dome. So this gold is extremely hard. It is the toughest thing that matter can be made into, and it is transparent. So those that are outside can watch us. We can see the stars. So anyone that's promoting like sky ice, it's really a goofy psyop, because ice would have to be super, super thick to hold up the waters above, and we wouldn't be able to see through it then. So yeah. There are also a couple of Bible verses and other resources, or other, I think there's even a Quora of people discussing pure gold being transparent, but it's really interesting to see it hidden in plain sight. David D says, yeah, pedophile scum are the problem. Yes. Race Lover says, lots of bold claims being made by everyone here. Prove it. Just kidding. Yep, there are a lot of bold claims being made, and I am like, one of the things that when I started waking up, I'm like, I really need to believe what I believe because I believe it, not because somebody told me to believe it. And I'm the kind of person that, like, once I know something is true, like, I'm not just passionate about fight, killing, dying for the animals. I'm just like, I'll fight, kill, and die over the truth. Like, let's go. I'm ready to just, I got a warrior inside of me, and I'm ready to go. So yeah, once I find the truth of our reality and things that are revealed to me, I make some bold statements, and I will stand by them. Keb Fortuna says, did this happen? Did what happen? What are we talking about? Kyle said, if only we could end corruption with a Thanos. Is that how you say that? Snap. Yeah, that would be really nice. I obviously haven't seen what movie is it from Thanos? I don't know. Marvel Comics supervillain from a Mad Titan, or yeah. Honestly, I wasn't necessarily too big into superheroes. I mean, it's more of a guy thing in general, but I really liked Spider-Man, but in particular the third Spider-Man when he like went emo and had a little hair flip and everything. Yeah, I definitely have a emo girl pull to me, and that's the kind of music that I grew up like really liking, stuff that actually has like meaning to it and emotion rather than this like, you know, booties and hoes like nonsense that we have today. It's not like really annoying like electronic music. It's like actual people playing guitars and instruments and making actual music. So it's, yeah, anyways, that's my Spider-Man, but yeah. David D says endists are the worse than inverts. Well, yeah, inverts usually aren't, well, some do promote endism, but when they're like constantly ruling the world and Satan gives them everything they want, it's not like they want to end things. I mean, they're having fun. All right. Isaac says you're doing good at work, teaching an important message. Keep it up. Thank you, and thank you. I really appreciate that, Isaac. And thank you all for being here as well. David says, a dome of pure gold above us. Polaris never moves from the North Pole for thousands of years. Yep. Something about getting taught the truth of our reality by a sexy girl in a hot tub. Yeah, the hot tub does add a nice touch. It's like, I'm not sure why everything like just goes away. Maybe it's the natural light just floating away with all the waves from me. But I'm like, come over here and be my friends. I want to be surrounded by prettiness. Okay. Hi Presley, how's it going? Beautiful talk and lovely girl. Thank you very much. David says, warrior side of the queen, ready to go go to war. Yeah, I know. It's a good thing that I'm in the hotel room by myself. I'm not like going out about. I'm not like the kind of person that goes out to bars and has like fights with people and stuff. But yeah. Race Lover says, I only make bold certainty claims I can back up. Well, there's not always physical evidence of things. Some things are channeled, some things are, you know, we can't travel freely. So like for me, I don't even subscribe to a mapper model because I don't trust anybody. I just know that the earth is flat. But it's like there are things that, you know, can be channeled and revealed to you through other means that you don't necessarily have the government, a .gov website saying the dome is made out of pure gold. It's like they hide these things, but they tell us in different, you know, the yellow submarine, the golden arches. Like there's a lot of different things along the way to basically put truth in plain sight. Kyle said the mermaid of truth. That's cute. I'm definitely glad that I don't have a fish fin going on. Here's my feet. You can see I don't have fish fins. Okay. White Awake 14. How's it going? It's been fun. Good night, beautiful. Thank you for saying hi and stopping by. David D says, emo Spider-Man funny, especially acoustic music, my favorite. Yes. Looking beautiful tonight, especially. Thank you. Presley said, keep up the great work. I appreciate that a bunch. Race Lover says, thanks, David. To what? David D says, thank you for giving up your time to give us this live. Well, I definitely enjoy myself, and I really love to be able to connect. Kyle saying I could swim faster with fins. Yes. Well, I am not focused on swimming, but yes, I could swim faster with fins. I could fly faster with wings. I could run faster with legs. I clearly have legs, but yeah. Anyways, as that wasn't even a good joke, was it? All right. Kim Fortuna says, I have a terrible lag, but enjoy listening to you. Well, I hope it's not my my internet. I'm going from the hotel Wi-Fi here, so it should be pretty good. David D says, sexier than a mermaid. Thank you. It's kind of interesting, the like mermaid culture almost. Like, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. They have like those people that actually put on the fins and go into tanks and entertain people and like hold their breath for extended periods of time to do that. It's like, all right, little fishy. Okay. David D says that was Kyle that said you could swim faster. David D says, so Titanic tomorrow. Sounds like fun. Classic. Yes. And the seats in the theater are the luxury lounge seats, and they like are reclining. They have heater elements. The only bad part is that they don't massage your back, but it might be a little bit awkward if you're like sitting there getting a back massage and there's like a creeper a few chairs down that's like getting his back rub and moaning and like making weird noises the whole time. Like he's just enjoying that massage a little bit too much. And they're like, oh man, this is ruining the movie. But yeah. Kyle says, how's your battery doing? I actually have my battery. There's an outlet like right here. So I am plugged in. If you notice in my thumbnail, I have this little cut here. I was making my stuff for the Reading event, and I had this this pan in my hand, and I was walking outside to put it in my outside refrigerator, and the corner of it like it hit the door and it like sliced into my stomach. I'm like, you know, in movies where someone's like stabbed and they're like, it like takes them a second to like realize what happened. That's what happened to me. I'm like, what just happened? It really shocked me. It threw me off really bad. It was so weird. So anyways. Race Lover says about a hot Valentine's date. Snow. No, well, besides for going out with myself. Chris says, what are the pendant stones in your necklaces? This is Tektite, and it is from the heavens, and I use it to essentially like as a filter, I guess, over my heart to kind of filter in any energy and as a protective measure. And this is lapis lazuli. I'm not sure if I said that right, but and it is for like speaking truth and wisdom and other properties like that. And that's the same as in my earrings as well. And this is blue sapphire, which is my birthstone. Kind of cool that Virgos get a blue stone, and I love blue, so it's cool. David D, luxury reclining heater chairs. Nice. Yeah, it is cool. And they actually, if you are a couple, the armrest actually goes up. So it kind of moves out of the way so you guys can scooch closer. And then when you pull the armrest up, like the same area is obviously there, and they have made a cup holder in there, so you can actually put the armrest up and still have a cup holder and like cuddle and stuff. Like really cute. Richard, how's it going? Oh, and Anna, you dazzled and shone in the Blitz tournament. You You are the one with every move. You kept us amazed, and in our hearts, your name is now engraved. Oh, thank you. David E says, prove to us you are a real girl. Show us your flaring hips. Make sure my undies are covering myself appropriately. I've actually been accused of having an Adonis belt. Like, this is like fat. I do not do sit-ups. This, you can kind of see how it interacts with like the fat and kind of piles over a little bit, and it can give the same appearance, but I assure you that I do not even I can't even tell you when the last time that I did a good sit-up was to even have an Adonis bow, and I'm a female, so I have never seen a real female with an Adonis bow before. It's MTFs that are portraying themselves as female, and this these really buff fitness instructors who are giving women impossible standards because they can never be that chiseled and defined. And why would you want to be anyways? I mean, I understand an athletic female, and I definitely have athletic traits, but I'm not into being ripped and try to have a six-pack or something. That's, why would I want that? I like my belly how it is. Okay. Let's see what it says. Richard says, as we celebrate this Valentine's Day, we honor your victory in every way. Your brilliance and talent we cannot deny, and we wish you success as you continue to fly high. Woohoo! I love that. David D says, it looks great sandwiched between your chests. Yes, my Tektite here. I was looking at a lot piece. Kyle says, Sapphire for the win. I know, right? We're lucky. And I think I read somewhere also, well, there's multiple different things, but some associate the Virgo flower with Narcissus. And the story is that Narcissus was obsessed with his reflection because he was so good looking. And it's really a shame that it has taken on such a complete monster of a meaning, going from this guy who's mesmerized by his appearance to now every single person that you meet on the street is a narcissist, and the majority of them don't even actually think they're good looking. How do they get a label of a narcissist when they are nothing like Narcissus? They're an egomaniac. They're obsessed with themselves. You can be obsessed with yourself without being a narcissist, without being obsessed with your looks. And that's what narcissism is. It's obsessed with your actual looks. And I also happen to be a little bit of an egomaniac as well. It's interesting. There is a passage in the Clementine homilies or the Clementine recognitions. I'm not sure which one of the two. But it actually talks about if you not loving yourself being a sin. It's basically if you don't love yourself, you're not going to, care for yourself properly. And that's kind of, they're saying that almost is the first sin that I'll have to read it to you. Maybe on Sunday, I'll bring that with me. But it's really interesting. I think that if people did love themselves and actually had pride in who they are and, cared, then they wouldn't be acting like actual clowns. You would care about, it's not about a superficial, I'm not going to be me because I want people to accept me. It's I hold myself to a certain standard, and that's because I that's how I want to be seen. I don't want to be seen as a freaking clown because I care. So I think if more people cared, it would be a lot better of a world. Okay. Chris says, lovely choices. Thank you for the knowledge. La piece with the gold flakes. I know, it's beautiful. I love blue. So these stones really work out for me. And I love how it's speaking your truth. And that's one of the reasons that I put it over the throat chakra. People have falsely accused me of doing it to hide an Adam's apple. It's I literally have tons of videos before I ever made this showing my neck. I don't know if I could even take this off. I have a really hard time getting it, but I have shown pretty much my whole body before. It's I'm not hiding anything. I'm wearing a choker for, well, I think it's sexy for one. There we go. And because the actual stone and its properties going over the throat chakra, so magic, whatever you want to call it, like that's the reason that I do it. And so it's like I'm not hiding anything, okay? Like, and I don't believe that the inverts are doing it to hide Adam's apples either. So it's like the whole community has been programmed. There's like choker Adam's apple. It's like you can literally go look up other pictures of the same clown without the choker and see that they clearly do not have an Adam's apple. They don't have like they've taken their Adam, like they've got it surgically removed. So it's really, really stupid that they are just blanketly training people to Adam's apple chokers. Like, please actually show me one case that they are using a choker for that purpose, honestly. Because every time that someone has said that to me, I look up pictures of the same individual. I'm like, they literally don't have an Adam's apple. They're wearing it for fashion, for whatever other reasons. It's just like, yeah, there are some with scars and stuff, but it's like, if they were doing it to cover the scar, you'd think that they were doing it every time and you only ever see them with that on, but that's not the case. So David D says, sexy, sexy, so sexy, more. Kyle asks, is my back healed? I think it's pretty much gone, but there are a little bit of remnants left. I'm not sure how much you can actually see with the lighting. I actually have a birthmark right here, like pretty large on my arm. I'm not sure how much you can see either, but it's actually pretty noticeable, like a white birthmark. So that's a fun fact. David, it's actually funny, Kyle, too, because I went to lean back and I happened to like somehow the candle went like right between me and this thing, and I leaned back like full force to just stab myself in the back with the candle. I'm like, oh my gosh, I kicked my suitcase earlier. Like, I've gotten hurt a few times since I've been in this sleeping room. Winning against the bathtub. Okay. David says, are you a proud narcissist too? By the true definition of the word, yes. I'm sexy and I know it. Chris said, mine's ruby. But emerald and opal are my favorite, personal favorites. That's awesome. My rubies are really pretty. David D says, egomaniac. Yeah. I was kind of reading ego and megalomaniac at the same time. Egomaniac, narcissist, and megalomaniac. She admits to them all. By true definition, yes, I think that we should, I don't know. Like I said, I really hate how the word narcissist, like, why did everybody gets labeled this and they don't even think that they're attractive? Like, it's just not even the right word, but modern psychology has become so twisted. And the whole killing the ego thing, etymologically speaking, ego is the self, that which thinks, acts, and feels. So your true self is your true ego. Like, obviously there are all sorts of programmings from your childhood to get you to be something that you're not, right? Like, I was raised as a non-vegan, but my true self is a vegan. Like, I am a diehard animal protector. And so, growing up, that false ego didn't align with my true self, my true ego. But I really disagree with the whole killing the ego thing, especially that which thinks, acts, and feels. Like, slam on the brakes. We have enough fluoridated zombies that have no thinking, acting, or feeling going on. Let's not kill that, okay? We need to reinvigorate this. And again, it's like, if you care about yourself, then you're not going to want to be a clown. You're actually going to want to be impressive. You're going to want to not have the watchers snoozing on you. You're going to want to do something with your life that actually makes a difference, that you can actually be proud of. And it's time for everyone to wake up. Black Panther, how's it going? Wow, what a pleasant surprise of a live. Hi, Anana. I am chilling in this extra luxurious, I didn't even know that they had 2-person jacuzzis in this hotel. I've been in here multiple times, and usually they have one of the classic that's kind of like a triangle, and it just goes like this, and it's only like one person. Two people can fit in it, but it's like this is specifically designed for one person's head here and one person's head here, and they have like actual seats on both sides for two people. So it's pretty cool. They I think it might be because it was Valentine's Day, but they like maybe put a $300 deposit down in the room, and they've never done that before. So I'm hoping it was just Valentine's Day that they're worried about people coming in and partying and making a big mess. But it was definitely worth it. I'm going to get it back anyways. So David says, looks sexy with choker, looks sexy without. Well, thank you. I think it does add, I mean, either way, but I do like the element that it brings as well. Chris says a little magic armory from Mama Gaia. Where did it go? Yeah, exactly. There's a verse in the Essene New Testament, or Essene Gospel, whatever you want to call it, the Gospel of the Holy 12, that says that the Christ, in his younger years before he, turned 33 and did the official thing, which is interesting how even mainstream Christians, these truthers, they say, oh, 33 is a Masonic number. It's like, well, first of all, you have 33 vertebrae, right? Like, so God integrated this number into your very spine. So is God a Mason? Second of all, the Christ that you follow who's 33, like, I mean, like the killing at 33 or whatever, like all of these 33s everywhere is like, yeah. Anyways, Kyle says people can have an Adam's apple trimmed and have an Adam's apple implant. Shit is crazy. It is. And that's one reason, like, you can't judge, like, you can't just say, oh, well, this is a male because they have an Adam's apple, when an FTM, a female who wants to portray themselves as this, will go and actually get an implant. So you have to judge these things differently. So it's like an MTF. If you see someone that's parading themselves around in a dress and they're portraying themselves as a girl and they have an Adam's apple, unless they're a double flip, which means they were female to male to female, that's a dude, right? If you see, like I'm saying, you can't judge them the same. So it makes it a lot more confusing. And even more so when there are double flips, like I was saying, like Bruce Jenner, who was born female, inverted to male to be the Olympic athlete, and then reverted back to female. They're not the only ones. RuPaul, Jazz Jennings, there are a ton. It's mainly the publicly outed inverts are the ones that are double flipped. Leah Thomas, that swimmer. The most ironic thing, people got so mad because this supposed man went into a supposed women's sport and had, played around, right? Women's sports is MTFs in the first place, right? So all of the people that Leah was swimming against were biological men. Leah was a biological woman. So she was swimming against men in the whole world, even some truthers. They call themselves transvestigators, and they were deceived by this because Leah is very large. A giant female is going to be tall. She's going to have bigger bones. Like, you can't judge her the same as you would an average female. So her being really tall does not mean anything. There is a really hilarious picture where she went out of her way to actually pull, like, I hate this, to pull her bathing suit up over her hips so that when she stood up, it was like a really obvious hip dip in her. Like, she went out of her way to highlight the fact that she had hips in this one-piece bathing suit. And people still are labeling it as a male. It's like, they literally have the same hips as me. If you have female flaring hips, you're a female. It's like the golden standard for sex discrimination. So there is a picture online. I look down and there's a rose on my arm. Like, am I bleeding? What the heck? Okay. There's a picture online of me standing next to Leah. And then there's also Tory Black, who's a male porn star. So it shows all three of us in pretty much the same one-piece shirt, and me and Leah's hips are the same, and the porn star, who's an MTF, doesn't have hips at all. So I can maybe repost that later if I can find it. In the transvestigation groups for sure. Okay. Black Panther says at Kyle, wow, I thought that was supposed to be impossible. Truly strange surprise. Yep. David D says killing the ego is killing yourself. Yes. Richard says, and on the snow, chess master supreme faced rumors that threatened her esteem. She stood strong with poise and grace and let her skill win the race. Oh, I love poems. Let's learn from her determination and grit and rise above negativity bit by bit. For in the end, it's our talent that counts and our hard work that truly amounts. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Raceler says that she has a long way to go to win the bond. What bond are we talking about? Chris says favorite genre of music, or favorite artist. It really depends on my mood. Generally speaking, I love songs no matter what genre they are. But recently I've kind of been on a binge of listening to like older music that I used to like, which kind of happens to be like emo, punk, like type genres. Yeah, I can't really say one. If I had a gun to my head and they said you can only choose one artist to listen to for the rest of your life, I might say just pull the trigger, bro. Like, what do I get a flip for? Like, I don't know. I really love music. I could have music notes tattooed on my body here, okay, and also this. So, like, I really love music, and if I could only listen to one band for the rest of my life or one artist, I don't know about that. Okay. David D says, extra luxurious suite. Celebration of a successful tournament. You did so well. Yes. You fought back against a huge demonic attack. I am proud of you. Thank you. I am proud of myself as well. There were definitely a lot of obstacles placed in my way. And yeah. Black Panther says, I totally forgot about Valentine's Day. I was wondering what all these heart decorations everywhere were for. That's funny. I got myself some flowers as well. So, and these beautiful floating candles. I love them. All right. Dave says, pull up your underwear again, cough. That's funny. Inverts will use all kinds of tricks to try and pass. Actually, speaking of pulling underwear up, that really like Baywatch look where they're all like pulling it up like this, I hate that. It's like growing up, I was like, why are they doing that? It's so flipping ugly. And plus, they never had any hips either. So it was just like this really high waist with like just disgusting Baywatch bodies. And now looking back, it's like because they're dudes. That's why they're just the most hideous bodies. And look at their faces now too, especially when they get older. Like rough, rough. All right. Raceler says double flip. LOL. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to. Definitely interesting to transvestigate and see these things, but there's an agenda to, like with Bruce Jenner and how they're this really manly Olympic athlete, and then they come out wearing dresses. It's like these really thug rappers that are coming out and pretending like they're pregnant and wearing really ridiculous clothing and stuff. It's like the clown show went from like 50 to 99.9 like super fast, and their time is running up. Like they're really desperate, and I don't even know, like I'm thinking of that Sam Smith ring to just be sitting in water. Oh, that's good. That like latex balloon outfit, they have like these giant puffs on their arms and their legs. They look absolutely ridiculous. Like the clowns are coming out in full force, and it's really weird to see how this flamboyant like clownery has seeped into so many different groups of people. Like obviously you have like the liberal leftists, but even like in the emo culture, like there are people that are going, wait, in my opinion, I'm a classic black emo person, like not having flamboyant colors and like oh, look at me. I do draw attention, but it's not because like I have pink hair or like I have like a shaved head and 97 facial piercings. Like that's not the kind of attention that I'm looking to draw. But it's really interesting to see just in general the flamboyancy going through the roof. And I am really not supporting of the clown pride movement. Okay. Hi, Aspect 670. What's going on? What's your favorite love songs? David says. Oh man, I have too many really to share, but I am in the making of like making my own medleys and mixing some of them together. So I will be able to share with you some of my favorite songs through that method. So I'm gonna turn on the heat water for a second. Okay. Race Lever puts his own in a wrench and said that they are. I don't even know if I can say that without. Can you even say trans on the internet without getting banned? Maybe you can say it in that context. Hopefully. Anyways, Race Lever says that they identify as the best moderator here. That's funny. Black Panther says that you speak in broad terms. Do you really think all women athletes are actually MTS? I'm talking about all professional, like Olympic, all the professional, anything, your entertainers, your sports stars. Like Hollywood is an invert-only club, and you only get in by being an invert. And it's not different with like the NBA, the NFL, the WNBA. Like these are all invert-only arenas, and they're completely controlled. They live in a completely controlled reality, and you know, as I said before, it's like Satan will pretty much give you what you want to a certain extent if you sell out. So there's like all these inverts that want to be basketball players. Well, they're the NBA, they're the WNBA. It's like they're all flipped. And if you need help to learn transvestigating, I would definitely encourage you to join my Transvestigation Disclosure Now group and see all of your favorite stars being put on blast. It's really fun. David says the homosexual agenda is in full force now. They want access to our children. Yes. Yep. Aspect 670 says, David, it's communist agenda. Well, I don't really believe that it's like communist or socialist or any of these ists besides for Satanists. But yeah. Read number 25 of the 45 the word rules format and take over. Interesting. Race levers inverting themselves in our chat, being silly. I'll turn the water off in just a second after I get some more hotness going on. David says, when is your next chess tournament? I am working on scheduling that right now, so I will let you know. I don't want my enemies to have any more information than that, really, until things are set in stone. Especially as soon as I start promoting it, then they're gonna just go. Gonna go and start basically focusing all of their cursed energy for like me to be sick or like my face to break out and pimpled or like nobody to show up and all of this like negative stuff for me to fail. It's really, really irritating. It's like, you're pathetic. Don't you have a life? Don't you have anything better to do than try to stop the person who's making the world a better place through whatever means possible? Like that's what my goal is. And for you to try to oppose me, it's like, you need to look in the mirror because what's wrong with you? Well, if they're an invert, there's a lot. Okay. David D says, yes, aspect, they pretend to be communist, but really they worship Satan. It's the true source of their power. Yep. Chris says, can't wait to hear a Queen love ballad. Yes, I'm looking forward to it too. I actually want to go to in Reno. I've already talked about it, but they had this open mic night where everyone was like really like a big music happy family and like playing together, and it was just really, really fun. And I am like smiling so much about it. I want to go back there and really launch my singing. Kyle said the one by the Dirty Youth is a good song. Is it a love song? Sounds like a love song. Right, Slover says making the world better with chest and chest. Yes. The one. Can you whisper in my ear your thoughts and feelings, everything you are? I have to disappear if we ever let go. Your look, your scent. They put your SENT instead of like your scent, your smell. Your taste, your touch. It's over and it hurts too much. As I pull you close to me, I'll never let you go. I'll have to listen to it later. The Dirty Youth are a British rock band from South Wales. Interesting. Okay. That makes sense. Coming from you, Kyle. That was not negative in any way. I like Kyle's taste in music. We have a lot of things in common there. David says, how many jacuzzi tubs make a golden age? Well, one in every hotel room, I say. It's literally, we can make anything that we want to make happen. We can manifest the reality around us. So, yeah. David D said, Chris says it's part of the population control agendas. The homosexual agenda, I think you might be talking about, because that's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, I think that's what you might mean. But yeah, it definitely is. If there were only, non-heterosexuals, then where would the babies come from, and the human species would be pretty much done, except for unnatural means of reproduction, and we definitely do not need any more of that. Kind of reproduction is definitely an interesting topic, and I think that people push the thing when maybe it's not the best time to have babies, especially right now. And yeah, I would definitely wait till the golden age to try to, do that. But if you purify your diet, you're going to become more fertile. Like if you stop putting death in, you're going to stop bleeding so much, and your body is going to actually become more pure and start to revert back to the way that it was designed. Your body is a self-healing machine. So literally any disease, like even if they say it's incurable or, terminal illness, all of these things, it can literally be fixed with either vegan keto, raw vegan, fasting. There are natural means by which to heal oneself. And obviously those aren't promoted. The only thing that's promoted is, going to the hospital and getting radiated and sliced and diced and all that. So Black Panther says, Inanna, I used to compete in college sports right next to pros. So, well, college sports really isn't what I am focused on. The professional sports is the ones that is like all inverts. But there are going to be inverts also in college sports. Like there are inverts literally all around us. They've competed with us in high school, and like they've been our classmates or teachers. They're in every different group that there is to be in. They've infiltrated, and how would you even know unless you're actually seeing these people naked, unless you are consciously aware that there are inverts around you? You're not going to know any better anyways. Like, thankfully, I never saw any, like, in the high school dressers and stuff. It was never like seeing anybody's private areas, so I wouldn't put my neck out there to defend anybody that I went to school with. Like, I don't know. Do not know. All right, I'm probably gonna get off of here soon. Yes, the sing their Mowgli's and their original songs. Our controllers are not humans. They see us as cattle, as livestock to herd. Well, it's really interesting. Like I've said before, that hey Abdullah A, um, that so many humans are addicted to cow's milk, right? Goyim, mama cow's, you know, tit secretions like a little baby cow. So it's no wonder that they call humans goyim. Um, David says that they own this world, they control every aspect of it, uncontrollable, ignorant of the truth. Yep, pretty much. I mean, they have ways that they can try to control everyone. And if you, like, basically, if they came to your house with a file of blackmail and you basically said, screw off, I'm still not doing what you want, I mean, they could even threaten your family and you know, in defending their lives. Inverts are everywhere, usually running the groups, always in control. Yep. It's one of the reasons why I'm constantly showing off my flaring hips, because people need to know that I'm real. Like if I was not me and I was anybody that's looking at me, I would be like, you need to prove to me that you are what you say you are before I even care to listen to what you have to say, because that's just where I'm at. I don't care. Like there's too many inverts that have deceived me. Like I transvestigate first, and if you can't pass transvestigation, just don't bother. Chris says, yeah, the inverting of the children, homosexual promotion. Yep. And grooming of the children, right? Like children don't need to be focused on sexuality or any of that confusing stuff. They need to be focused on learning how to tie their shoes. Like that's not to say, I don't know. There's debates to be made that they really shouldn't be wearing shoes, and they can actually, the shoes, if they're overworn, can negatively impact the development of their feet. So I don't want to be promoting anything that could hurt children. I would definitely encourage people to look into it. But yeah. Race Lover says it can't be, but Plaid Panda says that's my point, and Anna, as an athlete, I saw privates every day. The locker rooms be like that. Yeah, well, the professional athletes, I assure you, are not. They're not real humans. Like their biomarkers prove that they are females. I don't believe anybody that wants to claim that they've seen LeBron James's male parts, because LeBron James is not a male. So if someone actually did make that claim, I would be like, well, first of all, I have to transvestigate you because you're making a claim. It's way easier for me to just transvestigate LeBron James and see that LeBron James is a female by their biomarkers, rather than go off of anybody's hearsay. Because honestly, I don't trust anybody at this point. Like, especially if I can't like see what they look like, if I can't fully transvestigate them, you can tell me that you know somebody who slept with Britney Spears and that you slept with the same person. Like, you know for sure that Britney Spears is a real girl. Like, you don't though. And I just like, it's not going to change anything for me. You can say that till you're blue in the face, and it just doesn't matter to me, because biomarkers prove that it's otherwise. So, Race Lover says it can't be both. What? Manipulate and influence. Yes, fully control equals display your ignorance. What are you talking about? Yeah. Dave says, what are you going to do with inverts during the golden age? Well, first of all, they need to stop making new inverts. So the children need to be protected, and they are not going to be allowed to be inverting children. But I'm not going to like go to Arnold Schwarzenegger's door and be like, you have to grow out your hair and put on a dress and like dress like a woman. Like, first of all, nobody wants to see that. Like that, I mean, okay, some people might want to see that, but that's not like, they're so like, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go beat down their door and make them revert. They do have to stop inverting children, and they're not going to be in power. I do not agree with the deception of inversion, as in, I mean, okay, I don't agree with inversion, period. But there is a difference between someone who is public about what they are, and someone who is deceptive about what they are, someone who is not telling you that they are inverted, and someone who is very obvious and open about it. They're not trying to deceive, right? So there is a difference in that too. It's a complicated subject, but ultimately, if they will stop corrupting, if they will agree to be vegan and leave the innocent alone, like abide by the rules, then I am all about people repenting and becoming good and not starting the golden age with a bloodbath. There's already going to be a lot of deaths with the depopulation agenda. Like, how many people have, I wanted to say, died suddenly, but I'm not even sure if you're allowed to say that without getting banned. So a lot of people are already not with us, and it's not even fully through the depopulation event. So I'm not encouraging a timeline where I say, okay, humans, let's gather up our guns and armies and go to war with the ones that are ruling our world. I'm saying this is the situation that we're in, and I am looking to essentially make a deal where they fall into line and get under my control, essentially, and stop doing what they're doing, pretty much. So let me see what this has. Let me see what this says. Kyle says, "See You on the Outside" by Bless the Fall is another good song. Oh, that's cool. I used to listen to Bless the Fall when I was younger as well. David D, how can you afford to provide all these golden age promises? How long will it take to start? Well, I have some people that I am working with essentially to make money and deals that will essentially unlock money for me to start buying property around Mount Shasta. And it kind of already has started in many ways. Like, there is an increase in veganism, but there's also a pushback from it as well. It's like the vegan restaurant around here is no longer. And there are very anti-vegan forces at play that are trying to shut any vegan growth down. But it is a slow process, and the tribulation, we kind of have to survive. We have to weather the storm, I guess, and then after crap hits the fan, that's when we can start to rebuild. Like, they're trying to cause the chaos to bring about their new order. Well, they're causing the chaos, and we're going to stand against their order and create our own order, which is the golden age. And like, people are against a new order. It's like, the order that we have now sucks. We need a new order, not their new order. Their new order sucks. Their new order is totalitarian. You're a bigot if you don't let them sodomize your child, like evil. And we're going for the opposite of that. Like, if you even look at a child, you're going to be in trouble with me. You don't want that. I will like rip you into shreds and ask questions later. I'm just kidding. But I think that there definitely needs to be, justice in play to make sure that children are safe. And I do think there needs to be, I'm not going to blindly just execute people on a whim. There has to be real, nervous. Okay. Anyways. Okay. David D says, protect the children, start here. Yes. Racelar says, David, are you deleting comments? I don't see anything that was deleted by David. Because usually it'll say like Race Lover, and then it says comment deleted by them. So David says, children are the future. Race Lover, not this time, no. And then Racer says, so you have earlier afraid to play fair. I am okay with my mods deleting messages of trolls, and there was trolls in here earlier, so Yeah, don't start a fight with my mods. Chris says barefoot is best and actually higher on the tiptoes, but this artificial terrain makes it more difficult and less beneficial. Yes, thank you for adding that. I appreciate it. Plaid Panther says the invert thing is truly horrifying. Hard for me to wrap my mind around that. Yeah, it definitely is. It's a worldwide deception that's been going on for thousands of years, and they have, basically had all this time to rule the world and build their empire and been deceiving humanity and corrupting humanity and turning us into clowns, like, and making us their plaything. And then all of a sudden, when we start to see them and we start laughing at them, then they get like upset about it. When they're backed into the corner, and then we're just like, you are what you are. Then all of a sudden, invert pride. They're like, oh yeah, we are that, and by the way, we're proud. It's like, you weren't that proud 2 seconds ago when you were hiding what you were. Now all of a sudden, when you're backed into the wall and your pants are on the ground, whatever you want to say, now all of a sudden you're proud. Why weren't you loud and proud from the beginning? Because no one would have accepted you back then. You had to go through all of this programming to fluoridate humans and dumb them down and condition them to accept all sorts of ridiculous things to go along with any sorts of degeneracy and confusion. Yeah. Kim says, I deleted some trolls in the earlier live, not this one, yes. Race Lover says, I was specifically talking about my comments that disappeared. But I'm saying that none of them in this, like if I scroll up, it doesn't say Race Lover deleted by David D, and usually it does. So maybe, well, first, is your thing on live chat or top chat? And second, it might be YouTube that's like automatically declining your things, or was it actually posted, or was it posted and deleted? Because I don't see any that are posted and deleted, so don't know. Okay. I think I'm probably going to get off of here soon for real this time. Hey, Swoop Reactions, how's it going? What do we have here? Abdullah A says Kim Petras is openly inverted, as I learned recently. Interesting, okay. Vegans do scream at people. I do, for sure. Raisler says animal abuse pisses us off. Yes, exactly. Abdullah A says they arrested a school student in California for saying he believes in two genders. Really? Hard time believing any mainstream news, but I guess, them putting on this show and trying to scare people into submission to not speak the truth. Oh, you better not say that or you're going to go to jail. Like, you're going to get in trouble. It's just, yeah. Race Lover says if they're deleting comments and not being fair, they would be the ones starting. Come on now. Well, he only deleted trolls comments in the other thing, and I mean, I don't know about being fair. Like I said, it usually says the person's name and then it says the thing was deleted. And if you scroll through the chat, it doesn't say that ever by your name. Like, there's not even one instance in the whole thing where I see Race Lover comment deleted by David D or comment deleted at all. There's one that was retracted by you. Otherwise, literally nothing all the way to the beginning almost. Let me look when I was there. Yeah, literally nothing. So I'm not really sure. It must be YouTube deleting your comments. Cow says inverts everywhere. Yes, it is really sad, especially when you find out that your favorite musicians are inverts, and yeah. Swoop Reaction says, I would love to play it in chess. Oh, that'd be fun. Abdullah A says, everyone share your thoughts about the Kabbalah. It's kind of a longer topic that I'm not exactly trying to get into right this second. But we could definitely talk about it in the future because I'm getting a little bit drowsy now. So I'm not really sure what Kangen water is either. I've heard it before, but I'm not sure. YouTube deletes comments. Yes. Racelover says mine says top chat or all messages. Really? Are you on what device are you on? I guess maybe on my phone it might say all messages, but here it says live chat or top chat. Okay. Yeah. Chris says that you're not even a pruny yet. I am though, actually. My fingers are pruny, but all right. Super Action says, I enjoy your videos. This is my first time catching your live, and thanks for the shout out. Awesome that you were able to catch me live for the first time, and thanks for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. All right, so I am getting, like I said, I'm going to get ready to get off of here. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I'll likely go live tomorrow, at least for a little bit, to say Happy Valentine's Day. So until then, I hope you have a great night's sleep. I really appreciate you coming and spending this time with me. Splash everywhere. All right, so have a wonderful evening. We got in. The gods bless you. Bubbles.